Greetings Mavericks and new viewers. Tonight, direct and live from the Maverick News Network World Studios. This is Maverick News with Rick Walker.
Welcome back to the Maverick News Channel, everybody. Great to have everyone here. We have lots of stuff to share with you tonight. Some real, some fake. But the fake stuff is real because we're going to explain why it's fake. So our reporting on the fake news will be real, but we're going to point out some of the fake news that's out there. At least it appears to be fake news. We'll let you decide for yourself. And Dragon's going to join us shortly to explore that because he has been digging in to these reports of the power outage in Paris. He has also been looking at the reports of vandalism, arson on the Paris rail lines. All of this happening while the Olympics are taking place in the City of Lights. So we'll get into all of that and a whole lot more, including unclaimed bodies that are piling up out in Newfoundland. We'll tell you why when we come back.
You know, someone very profoundly once said many years ago that if fascism ever comes to America, it'll come in the name of liberalism.
Well, I think it's time we ask ourselves if we still know the freedoms that were intended for us by the Founding Fathers. If we lose freedom here, there's no place to escape to. This is the last stand on Earth.
The entire world is watching.
Every dictator, every crazy dictator in the world is watching.
The world is watching. On TV, the entire world is watching. On social media.
But the entire world is watching, and yes, they are seeing what we have apparently bravely been willing to say that others are thinking.
Stand for freedom. Literally stand for freedom. Let's get this done. The entire world is watching.
We're at war with the most dangerous enemy that has ever faced mankind in his long climb from the swamp to the stars.
Maverick News. Maverick News. Maverick News.
Let me have more control of my own destiny.
The world is watching.
He's a fighter. He's a survivor. President Trump, defiant, strong. He is determined to make America great again. Pay tribute to the 45th President of the United States with this collectible t-shirt from the Maverick News Memorable Moments collection. Even a would-be assassin's bullet could not stop him. Instead, he emerged with his fist in the air ready to fight. For freedom. Get your Trump Fighting for Freedom t-shirt with any donation of $30 or more to Maverick News. There are two iconic artistic designs to choose from. But there is only one way to get these. Donate at freedomreporters.com. Support free speech. Free media. Support Maverick News. Call 1-866-248-1490 or order online at supergeeks.tv.
Okay, here I am. You're over there. Let's get into this story about the unclaimed bodies first. So it's a concerning situation. It's unfolding in Newfoundland. Unclaimed bodies are piling up at the province's largest hospital. The issue appears to stem from insufficient government assistance for funeral expenses, leaving many loved ones unable to afford proper burials. Emails that were obtained by the provincial NDP in Newfoundland reveal the number of unclaimed bodies stored in temporary freezer units at the Health Sciences Center in St. John's has more than doubled from November 2021 to January of this year. So there are a number of people, including some funeral home directors, who are blaming the province's funeral assistance program for this situation. What it comes down to is the economy isn't as strong as it really needs to be, and these unclaimed bodies appear to be from low-income families. In some cases, they involve people who may have been on income support, old age benefits, and there just isn't enough money there to cover their funeral costs. So the province's Minister of Children, Seniors, and Social Development is defending the government's aid program. Paul Pike says his department has, in his words, no idea why so many bodies remain unclaimed at the hospital. He says the funeral benefits for those on income support are automatically paid, and that his department is willing to assist in any way possible. But these emails that were acquired, of course, by the NDP, so there is absolutely a political element to this. And they got these, they got these documents, these email messages through Freedom of Information requests. And they show health officials warning in late 2021 that morgues were at full capacity and temporary freezer units were also filling up. So Kenneth Baird, a senior official with the new province-wide health authority and Newfoundland Health Services, noted that the Health Sciences Center morgue can only hold 2 bodies at a time, though, leading to the use of additional storage units. So this situation is especially difficult for low-income seniors on old age security benefits, who often qualify for as little as $600 in funeral assistance. In some cases, even GoFundMe campaigns are being launched to help families or people with relatives who have passed away. And the provincial government there is acknowledging these issues, and they have agreed to begin to review their income support programs. And we'll see where the story goes. But I have to tell you, it was a little creepy to put together the thumbnail and the headline for tonight's broadcast. Unclaimed bodies piling up in Newfoundland, in Canada. If you would think we would be able to do better as a community, as a country. But here we are in 2024. And I guess it's all related to, I mean, it really is Justin Trudeau's economy, right? And the provincial economy in Newfoundland. The Maritimes never as strong economically as, say, Ontario or Alberta, where the you generally, in the past, at least, you've had the industrial base mostly in Ontario, and you've had oil and resources more out in Alberta and BC. Newfoundland, the Maritimes, they've always had a more difficult time relying on the fisheries out there. And the fishing industry, that's seen better days too. And that's an understatement. And our government struggling, racking up debt, printing money. We've got inflation problems, and on the U.S. side, it's a serious issue too. In fact, the interest payments on the debt on the U.S. side now exceed national defense spending. And the U.S. national debt has now hit $35 trillion. How serious is that? What does that really mean? Depends on the economist you speak to. Opinions vary on it. nobody's, I think everyone agrees that it's not a great situation, but how serious is it? I suppose it depends on how it's managed. Some people say that we will never be able to pay off that national debt, or at least the U.S. will never be able to pay that off. The 35 trillion. The question is, should they increase taxes or take other steps to address the growing national debt? I would say what you need to do is use artificial intelligence to exponentially increase productivity, to grow your way out of the mess that we're in. I've said that before. RFK Jr. thinks you should buy Bitcoin with taxpayer dollars and set up a national strategic reserve. I'm not so sure that's a wise course of action either. We're entering a new era. That much, I think, is fairly clear. Okay, so here we are. It's about 1:15. I think we're about ready to bring Dragon in. He has been looking into this story about the City of Lights going dark. Power outage. We talked about it last night, but is it real or is it fake news? We'll find out when we come back on the other side.
Greetings, brave Mavericks. Our quest for truth continues. We go beyond fake news. Together we expose propaganda. Together we pull others out of rabbit holes. We are maverick thinkers. We are all unique individuals, defenders of individual rights and freedoms, credible, trusted, grounded in reality. Maverick News, Maverick News. Defending free speech, free speech. Donate at freedomreporters.com. Do it now. Tomorrow may be too late. Maverick News. The world is watching. Maverick News. The world is watching.
And there's the man. Dragon.
What's up, Mavericks?
Back in the lair. How are you this evening, sir?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
I am fine, thank you. And we're excited to have you here tonight because you have been digging into this story about power outage in Paris, France, the Olympics.
Yeah, well, I was actually taking some notes from some of my old friends that lives in Paris and also in the surrounding of the France area. So I was digging a little bit into it, and I found some interesting little thing about the shortage. It did happen a little bit, but not too much. I mean, there's a little part of France that was out of short of the
You're
system
saying
grid,
that,
but
maybe I can help you. There was a power outage, but on a limited scale in
Limited
Paris.
scale.
Okay. All right. So what did your friends tell you about the size or scope of the power outage? Were they able to give you any indication of how large it was? Because, you know, we've seen reports, media reports, and here I'll show you. I'll show you this. Here, hang on just a second. We've seen a wide range of reports from it was creating massive chaos in Paris as the Olympics are taking place, all the way to reports saying that there was no power outage at all.
Yeah,
So
it's
last
kind
night I
of
said, I don't know what's true. I don't know.
it's kind of concerning when you read from one part some news that will tell you that it's not yet confirmed, and then you go out there and you see there's some confirmation somewhere. But yeah, it was a small portion of Paris that was short of energy in some ways. So I cannot tell you how much people that were out of energy, but it's looked good and big from that point of view, but it's probably.
Now, the other thing is that this is what I think really gave this story traction is you see that church in the background, like way off, and it's still lit up. Well, these buildings in the foreground are dark because they're saying there was a giant power outage. And yet, if you actually look very closely, you can see these other buildings next to the church, just beneath the church. If you look closely, you can see there are lights on in those buildings. These buildings, the power appears to be out. You can see a few lights, but maybe just people with flashlights or candles, maybe in the windows, or maybe they have some other, battery powered devices or lights in there. But if you look in very closely, you can see lights on in those other windows. And you can also see that there is light spilling onto the face of these buildings, the faces of these buildings or facades, right?
Yep.
So
this
I
is
wouldn't
the
say
Sacred Coeur Church that you see in the background.
Yeah. So I would say that, what you're telling us is quite true, and that there was a power outage, but on a limited scale. Now, the night that I saw the initial reports, I did not report on it because the reports coming out were that there was this massive power outage, and yet through some sort of miracle, this church remained lit up. And here, I'll pull this down, and I'm going to bring you to an online streamer who, here we go here. This is, what's his name? Chatfield. I'd never heard of this guy before, but man, he got a lot of traction with this story. Here, I'll show you, and I'll show you what he did with it. He took it and ran. I'll play you the clip. Here it is.
Check this out. This is crazy. This is absolutely mind-blowing. And by the way, I've been looking at different news articles to try to understand more about the truth behind this. It seems like it's all about, what's surfacing on social media, but the articles are very interesting. And so is the social media content. Allegedly, reportedly, there has been a massive power outage in Paris, which happened right after, a day after the opening ceremony where Jesus was completely made a mockery of. And it's completely blacked out everywhere, except for one shining light in the city. And that shining light, my friends, is the church. Check this out. There's a church. I think it's called, I can't pronounce that. I wish I could pronounce in French, but it's a Christian church. And there it is, lit up in the midst of that dark world. I'll show you a little video clip here of what it looks like with all the darkness. I'm telling you, bro, this is crazy. Okay, this is what it says in MSN.
This
I'm going to share
picture,
some scripture that's
it's
going to
black
blow
and
your
white,
mind.
right?
This is
Sorry, Dragon, go ahead. What'd you want to say?
The picture has been damped from the picture that you showed. I mean,
Has been what?
damped.
Damped?
The light has been damped, if you will, like it's
Dimmed.
dimmed. So it's
You
like,
mean the video has been altered? Is
yeah.
what you're
And
saying?
if you look at
Edited,
the church, yeah, well,
manipulated.
look at the church on the picture, okay, and look at
Yeah.
the city. You doesn't see anything from the city from the point of view that I have here, okay. You don't have really a close up of the rest of the light around that church, right?
Yeah.
So you just see that church and that part of the city that is completely dark. So it's sensationalism.
Are you trying to say that the power outage, that these buildings in darkness in the foreground, that was edited to make them look dark?
No, but the way it is, probably
Right.
this picture was edited because you can't see much of the light from those houses or whatever building around that church that you have pointed out earlier.
Okay. Well, I mean, I
that
know a
you can
lot about
see.
photography, and I would say that, it depends on the exposure, and then if they've done anything with either the video footage or the stills afterward to adjust brightness, contrast. If it was shot in RAW, you can make things look, um, a lot different than they appear to the human eye if you're sitting there in person. So yes, but what I will say is I don't think that the image has been manipulated that much, not in the one at least that we've shown you here or the video, because you can see that all the lights are out in the buildings in the foreground. So I think what your friends shared with you today, your contacts over in France, and in this case, I think your ability to speak French served us well today because you were able to get this information directly from people who are there in Paris. So
Bien sûr.
I think what they're telling you is probably an accurate reflection of the larger picture in Paris, France, with regard to this story, saying that there was a power outage, but on a more limited scale, not what was being reported in some media outlets where they're making it out to be, chaos in the
Mhm.
City of Lights where the lights went out.
And the way also they will sensationalize the thing, and you will probably be on the same path than me. Some will say, look, it happened like 24 hours after the supper
The Last
caricature that they
Supper
have done.
performance at the opening ceremonies, which was controversial,
So,
and some said satanic.
and some people will say it was satanic, blah, blah, blah. And then you got that shortage. So they make some religious references and with
The
whatever
church and
prophecies,
yeah,
and
so
they look at this direction and they go like, look, it's coming, just to make
yeah.
you fear.
So I think that what we're dealing with here is a little bit of I think they've taken some liberties with the information to focus on certain elements, especially the divine intervention narrative, and spin this up into a story that is is bigger than the sum of its reality. I'll put it to you
Mhm.
that way. Um, and
But
this
what I
this
can tell
streamer
you,
is a very pro-Christian podcaster. And back
Mhm.
to you. Go ahead.
well, what I can tell you from that is that it's been confirmed from some authorities in France that it was act of vandalism that did actually brought that uh, to this situation in a way.
So it's been confirmed that the power outage on the scale that we got it was the result of some sort of vandalism.
There's some vandalism that is
Hmm.
linked into it. So
Yeah. Well, not surprising because we have seen vandalism, arson, in fact, come into play with the rail system that
yeah,
they use in Paris. And here's a map, and this shows France's high-speed rail network. And we've had a number of sabotaged lines. Also, these reports absolutely confirmed, absolutely real, and the sabotage lines are the red lines, and the specific locations of the sabotage are marked there in the red squares. And there was one attack on the rail lines that was foiled, stopped, and that's where that blue square is right there.
Mm-hmm.
And that has been a source of real concern.
Yeah. So the SNCF, which is standing for the Société Nationale des Chemins de Fer Français, which is basically like the VRL of France, basically, did saw this perpetrator doing his vandalism, and this is where some arrestation has been ongoing. So if you will note, these vandalism or sabotage has been done on the 29th of Friday 29 at 5 o'clock in the morning, if I do remember well on my notes. And as you know, 14 hours later you had the debut of the games. So basically it was basically to just disrupt the games and probably make more damage on a broader scale.
Right. So they did arrest. They have made an arrest as of today. They've made one arrest. This is some sort of I think he's being described as a far left activist of some kind. We don't have a lot of information on it, but these acts of sabotage, as described by officials in France, in Paris, affect the transportation network there in a major way. 250,000 passengers were affected by this on Friday when all of this, I think, first erupted, and they've been dealing with it ever since. Tonight, we're being told that the rail lines have completed repairs to these lines, but man, they've had a lot of disruption there at a time when the rail system has never been needed more, and that's because of the Olympic Games taking place in the City of Lights.
Yep. This is basically, you want to disrupt something big like some sort of Olympics or some event like this one, you will disrupt this. And also today, some probably leftist also or far left group like this one who has sabotaged the TGV did actually also today cut some fiber wires of the internet in some broader part of Paris. So
so
this is ongoing.
So we've got real acts of vandalism taking place in Paris. I'm surprised actually that it is not getting more attention in media over here. Maybe they just don't want to give it too much attention. They don't want to scare people too much. The Olympics, though, are always, and any event like that, especially the Olympics, always a target for acts of terrorism, vandalism, political activism. And we just got through talking about this last night, saying that, I said, a lot of people also think that the Olympics should be apolitical. In other words, not political at all, trying to take the politics out of it. But it's always steeped in politics. And that's, I think, also what we saw with the Last Supper performance, which looked like that. Which just sparks even more controversy, right?
I got backbone shivers. No, actually,
I mean, if you want to do that, I mean, whatever, go ahead. Yeah, you should have the freedom to put on a performance like that. But my personal opinion, I just don't think the Olympics is the place for that kind of performance art.
No, well, look, if I go by the meanings of the Olympics, what they are supposed to be from the start, and we can go back pretty far away, but it was a question of stopping wars. It was a question of sort of a healthy way to kind of compete, right? Instead of doing wars. This is why the first Olympic became. So some will argue actually that historically that was the case. So
just checking some of the incoming news tips. People send me stuff like constantly, so it's always wise for me to check even while we're live.
well, you never know when a big breaking news is gonna come, you know.
Yeah.
It's like what's going on with Lebanon and so on. I mean, I will not talk about Lebanon or make in depth anything in there, but we need to keep, I think, our eyes open because the situation is really, really like a power keg there, and I think things can probably go in a bad way in there, and it's not gonna be fun to watch. But who knows? Who am I to say, right?
Now, because we're on the fake news thing, I'll keep you here to discuss this. Elon Musk saying that, well, first of all, there was here, I'll show you what he's doing. He's saying there's a Google search ban on Donald Trump. And a Google search ban too on stuff involving election interference and maybe even the attempted assassination. I'm not sure if it's true though. And he is being.
So basically, if I go on any tab and I type Trump assassination attempt, it should not get anything.
Well, I saw a post from Elon Musk, and this is actually generating news. But I saw a post from him, which he shared. I can't recall who it was that was the original poster, but it says that the allegation is if you type in Donald Trump or search for Donald Trump, you get all these Kamala Harris results, and Google has turned around, and they're saying that if that's happening, it's an anomaly. There was a screenshot that appeared to be Kamala Harris coming up in the search results on page 1 and just dominating everything. But I don't know if it's true. So I thought we would just test it while we're live here right now. Why don't you just type in Donald Trump, Dragon?
Assassination attempt. Well, okay, on Bing, I just have to type Trump.
No, it's got. Okay, so all right, we can compare. But this
is
supposedly
I just
Google.
type assas or ass, okay, and the rest of the sorry for the name ass, but I mean the rest of the thing goes, directly say assassination attempt for me, and it does type back the whole thing. But on Google, I have to type assassination, and there's nothing. It's not like prevailing the rest of the phrase for me.
Yeah, and I mean here, I type in Donald Trump, and what do I get out of Google? Not that I'm a big Google fan, not big enough fan to defend them at all, or certainly not Facebook. But I type in Donald Trump, I get Donald Trump results.
I got them. I got Trump with the iconic fist in the air with the guys surrounding him. I mean, no.
Donald Trump assassination, and this is what I'm getting.
Yeah.
Your search engine results will vary from person to person because the system is set up to feed you results as that they think you want, that match your search history, your range of interests. That's why people end up in an information bubble, because they feed you stuff that you are interested in.
Information echo chamber.
Yeah, that's right. So that is an actual thing. That's why, like, well, let's just compare. This is, you type in for me, Dragon, please, Donald Trump assassination, and see if you get the exact same results on your end. I think it will probably come up a little bit different.
I just typed Trump and the rest of the.
You got to put the same words in. Donald Trump assassination.
Okay.
To do the comparison.
Let's go with Donald Trump.
Let's see how much this is cooked up to offer you tailored results specifically for you. Are you able to share your screen?
I'm trying. Okay, let's go with that. Not sure it's gonna work, but assassination attempt. There we go. Boom.
Okay, let's take a look at that. So there's your result. You have.
I got also this one here. That's the one with Donald Trump assassination complete. So that's
National
the one.
Post. And I get CNN at Associated Press.
I'm probably, that's because I'm on
Times.
Bing, probably.
Yeah, I need you to go to Google so we can do this properly.
This one is Google.
We're trying to compare Google results. So go to Google.
This one is Google, so.
There's obviously going to be different if you're using a completely different search engine. Okay.
Yeah, that's my fault.
All right. Are you on Google?
There we go.
Are we good? Can I bring it up now?
Can you see it?
Here we go. So you get CTV, CBC, Toronto Star in your Google search results, and I get, what am I getting?
Oops. That's the wrong.
I've got Associated Press, New York Times, National Post, CNN, Politico, The Guardian, CNN. So I am a little bit different. And then what's the first actual listing on yours?
So mine is Trump agreed to interview for investigation into the assassination attempt 9 hours ago.
Scroll down though. Scroll down. What's the first one on the search? Stop. Back up to just right there. So you get Wikipedia off the top, and then ABC, and I get. What am I getting? I'm getting the Washington Post, ABC, Fox Business, and FBI.gov.
So probably it's because of my algorithm that is different of yours.
Yeah, because my search history is different. I've been looking at different things. Probably I've been looking at more government websites for news releases and, just to get information directly from government sources rather than just media. And you have probably been looking at more of what you're getting, which is.
I'm looking into broad things, so yeah.
Wikipedia. Yeah, so it's based on that.
And the other part is that I'm using also Bing. So Bing is kind of, it's my go-to for some reason. I don't know why I always go on Bing.
Yeah, that's cool.
But I mean, my Google search is not like very populated, if you will.
Sure, you don't have as much search history there.
Yeah.
As you do over on Bing, right? Well, that's pretty interesting. But the question is it fake news? Well, I guess, how would you rate the power outage story in Paris? Real or fake news?
Real, but probably exaggerated.
Since a little sensationalism injected into those reports. Of course, the person who said that it didn't happen at all, or the media outlet that I saw that said no, didn't happen.
Yeah, I've seen one that is said that it's unconfirmed.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I mean, we can confirm, I think.
I think we can confirm and say that something happened. Right?
Well,
okay, so
I can confirm this. The railroad or the railways has been tampered with. We had some report about it, and this is confirmed. So,
And that is also confirmed absolutely. Also, there are reports and official analysis and media outlets taking a look at all of this, and it does appear that these are coordinated, planned attacks.
Yeah,
This is
because
not
they
like
all happen at the same time or about the same time in different location. And as you can see on the map, well, you probably cannot make it out by looking on the map, but they are pretty far away kind of location. You cannot be like at one place at one time kind of thing. So
Yeah.
that was coordinated.
Yeah, and that's because you have people out there with political views, in some cases pretty radical or extreme political views. They're out there to try and make a point. They want to disrupt things. They are revolutionaries, and I'm not saying that the revolutionaries in Paris engaging in this kind of vandalism are the same revolutionaries that I'm going to show you right now. But one thing is certain. Communism is where all the cool kids seem to be going. It's on the rise in America.
Mm-hmm.
Here are the
Well,
revolutionary
the far
communists of America
leftist group,
marching.
the far leftist, as France sees them, because every country has their own far left or far right, whatever. So they are anti-communist or anti-capitalist and such. So
This is back in the U.S. of A. Revolutionary Communists of America. When we've had our communist friends on the program, they keep saying, "Oh, we don't want a revolution." No, really. Just remember, they don't want a revolution. That's a lie. So when
what's the first word on the banner? Revolutionary.
It's not us
I don't
calling
want
for
to
a
have any
revolution.
revolution.
Not us. We didn't. We don't have anything to do with it. Not us. What I don't know. I don't know.
What's the message that I've been hearing from that crowd? War doesn't feed the poor, something like that. Well, I'm poor. Please give me some food, guys.
Oh man. Well,
I'm joking.
So that's real news. That's real, not fake. That's real. This next one, is this fake or real? This is footage. I'd say the footage is real. This is about the Trump assassination stuff. More new footage released. Even though I'm going to show you this footage, I'm reserving judgment on this because I don't want to get caught. I don't want to get burned by making a statement or saying that anything is factual until I'm absolutely rock solid, 100% sure of what it is I'm looking at. And with this video I'm about to show you, even though you're going to watch it and say, whatever, I'm just saying, watch this with caution. And I do what you want, folks. Me, even as I watch this, I am going to reserve judgment and sit back and wait until I have an opportunity to see more and learn more about what this footage really tells us. But this was shot as much as, well, it's shot at 5:02 p.m. Apparently, that's what is on the screen. Is that true, or was that a fabrication? I don't know. I can't verify that any of this has not been altered, edited, manipulated in some way. For all I know, somebody just added this graphic on there to make it look like it was at 5:02. Maybe it was at 5:02. All I can say is we're going to run this footage, and the allegation is Some police were already aware as early as 5:02 p.m., more than an hour before the shooting took place at 6:11 p.m. of Donald Trump, and they were already moving into position and surrounding the suspect with armed police officers.
So this footage is about an hour and 10 minutes before.
Oh, sorry, we didn't see any signs.
And yet, even though all this was going on, Trump was still allowed to get up on stage, where he finally, ultimately, was shot.
This guy's kicking everybody out.
I can't understand why things weren't
He's raging.
locked down as soon as they saw some guy with a rangefinder.
My question is the building on his right, is the building where the shooter was?
Again, you know, that's why you have to be so careful about what you're watching here, right? Because I can't figure out what the lay of the land is here. I'm not sure what position, what direction we're looking in. So I don't even need for copyright music playing a rally. Yeah. And I don't know what they're yelling at each other about. So you've got cops moving over there.
Sheriff.
So that would be the local police. And we learned yesterday, because of ABC, the ABC News interview with the local SWAT team and some others, some other local people, that local police, the local SWAT team, never had any communication with the Secret Service, even though they were charged with the task of securing the area around the building where the shooter was ultimately located, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Well, I know a little bit about how Americans should or do their thing with Secret Services because of, good old American theories. But the thing is that I'm pretty sure that they should have a certain communication between them. I'm not sure about that. I cannot confirm this, but it's supposed to be. I mean, how U.S. think, the way I think they think, or the way we portray them, as much as they are, information center. They like to have all information, so they should be communicating to each other's kind of thing, and it's a normal thing. Or from,
Now, see, there's a cop backing up. I don't know. See, it looks like these cops are looking for something, and they've got cruisers. They've got some
cops surrounding this whole entire fucking building right now.
Right. And this is 6:10. See, now we're 60 seconds away from the shooting.
There's something going on in this building.
So they knew. But these are the local cops. And they didn't have any way to communicate with the Secret Service.
There's somebody in this building.
And a meeting that was supposed to take place between the local SWAT team and Secret Service never happened. It was supposed to, but didn't.
See the way that cops is moving, like backward and looking at.
Yep, he's looking for the guy. They know he's up there.
In recorded history with the best order. In fact, if they could ever put up a chart, I don't know if they could do it. You guys have access to that chart, but I don't know. You don't mind if I go off teleprompter, do you? This is not going to be just a small word. I'm trying to explain. Oh, it is. You guys are doing it. They're getting better with time. My guys, take a look at that chart. Take a look at the arrow at the bottom. See the big red arrow, right? So that's what I'm talking about. That's the lowest point, and that comes right from the government services, comes right out of Border Patrol. Take a look at it. So that arrow is the lowest amount of illegal immigration.
So we should hear the shots ring out any moment.
Make yourself small, bro. I don't know what's going on.
Shot being fired.
I think I can hear that, yeah. There.
That's a good question. Jesse LeBlanc on the chat says, "Is that
Get down, guys. Get down.
there's no one on the tower?
Just get down. Get behind this tree with me. Get behind this tree.
But is that
Get
the
behind this
tower?
tree, guys.
Water tower?
No. I'm just safe back here. Here.
They fucking picked that dude off.
Did they pick him off?
Fuck yeah, I saw a big poop of hair go up in the air.
Oh,
They
fuck
shot him right in the
yeah.
head.
Fuck yeah.
Big poop of hair.
Holy shit, guys.
What happened
That's
over here? He
fucking
got four
crazy.
shots off. Are you fucking shitting me?
This is fucking crazy, dude. I can't believe
Dude,
I got all.
this is national fucking news.
I can't believe I got all that on camera, dude. I was in the middle of it.
Headshot.
Kill confirmed, he said.
He said kill confirmed.
He said kill confirmed.
I'm not sure it's paintball SW.
No, this is the real deal.
Mhm.
So, what more are we learning from this? I'm not really sure. We see the cops there as, over an hour before the shooting started. What did they know? When did they know it? It appears that they had some awareness.
Yeah.
As much as
He was on the roof.
Report did
An hour
confirm
beforehand.
that they were aware of the whole situation,
Yeah.
but couldn't find a way to act, or so is told. So what am I gonna make out of that is, well, if, for example, if both would have been with the Secret Service and the police as some kind of communication, this is where, as a police,
One seriously injured. I just heard
I
on the
would
cops
probably
radio.
ask for the service to help me to get that guy out of there, or whatever would have happened. But at the same time, I mean, you see what I mean? We would have react together to get this guy out. Now there's no teamwork between Secret Service and the police, so
Yes.
it's a problematic.
There should have been communication. They should have had a radio system operating so they could communicate with each other all on the same page. They needed coordination. They should have had a protocol in place so that the local SWAT team would know exactly what to do. That stuff needs to be coordinated. Where things went wrong, I have no idea. We are going to be.
Here, Hal. Are you law enforcement? You are? You're
We're
not?
going to be hearing about this for years.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Can I
sorry.
get your name?
Yeah, for sure. I got you, bro.
Since I thought that Agent Smith was going to take the phone, I stopped recording and locked my screen. He only wanted a picture of my ID and ran toward the building. I recorded 6 more minutes of footage until my phone was snatched by a PA state trooper and I was arrested and handcuffed. More to come. Thank you all. I appreciate you. And that is from the young man who posted that.
If I may, I stumbled upon something similar the other day when I was going for a walk to Westmount. Some anti-drugs SWAT just behind me did raid some guy when I was on my way, and I got it on footage. But I mean, it's kind of weird. Okay, it's pretty intense when you hear some kind of big guy coming out of a car with big guns and talking to a guy pretty harsh, like get down and sort of stuff. You kind of step out a little bit.
Yeah. So one more thing, Dragon, before I cut you loose tonight. I'm gonna keep you here, and
Please keep me.
Maybe two more things. The election in Venezuela.
Yep.
When we're talking about what's fake, what's real, I would say that footage is very, very real. The reporting, some of the reporting we've seen surrounding the Trump assassination attempt has been somewhat sensationalistic in some cases. In other cases, I think it's been pretty spot on, and in other cases, it's been conspiratorial, with theory wrapped around it. And really, yeah, hard to believe, right? So why would that ever happen with an incident like, oh shoot, I just lost the tab that I wanted to share with you.
You lost the tab? How could you?
Yeah, well, it's when I'm trying to bring stuff up here. Okay, so we have, I'm just going to ask you, do you think the election in Venezuela is legitimate, or did Maduro rig the election?
Hard to tell.
Is it?
To be quite honest. Look, if I go by logic, a lot of people goes out on the street and say that it's illegitimate. If you look at the portion of the population that is angry about the whole situation, I mean, does it look like people did not vote for the guy but got the guy anyway? And it's looked like, and there's another part, if I'm not mistaken, the vote was 51% against 49% for the other guy. Am I right?
Let me check that. Let me see where we're at. Okay, because this is changing by the minute. I've seen footage of people trying to get into polling stations with reports saying those polling stations were shut down early, with allegations that the reason they were shut down early was because the opposition candidate was getting a lot of votes. We're seeing leaders from Western countries questioning the results of the election. Maduro is claiming victory. The other side is also claiming victory, but it appears Maduro has control of the military and so still has control of the country at this point. Here, and
also,
we've seen
I think it was Anthony Blinken who did the comment on what was going on in Venezuela, I think.
Well, here's the military interacting with protesters in the streets.
No mantiene la paz y no mantiene la calma que se toca, actúa yo como garante de la paz y el orden. Pero no es la idea de que el pueblo, que no es la idea de que los militares, con todo respeto que se merecen los militares, porque matar en este pueblo se correcto. Pero no es la idea que los militares agarren su lucha contra el pueblo a una relación de mala. Nosotros estamos pendientes de algo que se claro. Sí, ok, queremos respetar.
So all that's going on. The and it looks like I don't I see and again everything I'm about to show you, don't take it as fact. Don't even believe. I until this is absolutely verified, any of the video I'm showing you, don't just sit there and think that it's real, because right now with the way everything is, I can't be sure that anything I'm showing you isn't something that's been fabricated. Here's footage that is supposed to be of Venezuelan patriots, so described, taking over control of the international airport in Malquetia. And this is, of course, them responding to the election and Maduro claiming victory. That's the way this video is being described. I don't have any reason to doubt it other than to say I doubt everything, especially everything I see on Twitter or X anymore, because I've seen so much fake stuff over the last 6 months, especially, or a year.
Yeah, well, this is why I went to some good old gamer friends that I was gaming with in Europe, if you will, because, well, as a Canadian, I told myself on this game, I'm going to go see on the server one day. And since then, I made some good friends and still contacting them once in a while. And they have provided me some good information here. So this is how I got you the good friends news.
And we're seeing pictures or banners of Maduro being, again, we're told, torn down by protesters in Venezuela. It appears to be authentic footage. Looks like some people not happy. And then there's this.
Look real though.
Oh, I think it is real, but again, I'm not 100% sure of anything. So don't come and shoot the messenger if the message that I'm delivering tonight has been altered, manipulated, or even outright fabricated. I've issued the warning. I'm not saying any of this is 100% factual or authentic, because I've seen too much fake stuff on Twitter and X over the last year. And until I can absolutely confirm, verify, I'm not going out on a limb on any of this stuff. This apparently is footage of a statue of Hugo Chavez being torn down in Venezuela, because, of course, the assertion here is that people are fed up with the far left socialist government of Maduro. So much for Chavez. And now this is also footage, it's supposed to be, of protesters about to confront the Venezuelan military. And I think again, this looks authentic. And then I think what we have here, if it is all authentic, then we get the close-up and that conversation that we already ran. So you're getting two different angles, one wide shot, one close-up. I think that's what we're looking at here, but not. Venezuela not in the best of shape. Their economy sucks. And yet you still see people marching in the streets. The problems of Venezuela, do you know who's getting the blame?
Who's going to get the blame?
who's getting the blame? Who's getting the blame for Venezuela, all of Venezuela's problems? I'll give you 3 guesses. The first 2 don't count.
The government's gonna say that it's the population's problem,
Nope.
or no? The media?
Nope. No. Come on, Dragon. It's the United States, man. They always blame it on the United States.
I was about to say the deep state.
No, it's the United States. They're saying that
Well, it's the deep state.
No, these international problems they blame on the USA. That's always the playbook. It's Venezuela's economy sucks because the United States is to blame. Why? Oh, because they used sanctions, and so they impoverished the whole country. So it's the fault of the United States to overthrow the government. Okay, well, they've got the whole world to trade with. Well, at least some. I don't know, man. Same thing with Cuba. They blame all the problems in Cuba on the United States. At least the communist revolutionaries or the revolutionary communists of America who are out in the streets, marching for a revolution that they say they don't want. Oh, my.
Yeah, I know. It's it makes me think of that picture that you see, like fingers pointing at the fingers on the other side, and it does like a circle, right? And it point at the other guy, to the other guy, till you being point at back to you.
Well,
it's
that's the way it works. It's been like that for a long time. Instead of I'm sorry, but you can make the argument that the United States has had an impact on a place like Cuba, for sure, or even on Venezuela. But these governments, these communist governments, they need to they should be accepting responsibility for the outcome, the result of their policies. That's really ultimately what is to blame, in my view. But the communists never want to admit when they never want to admit their failures. They always want to blame it on somebody else, and then they always want to redo. Got to have a do-over. That wasn't real communism. Last time it failed. Got to have a do-over.
Look, my apartment is a mess. That's because I go outside too much and too long to get care of my stuff because I want to get some news for the Mavericks. It's Mavericks' fault if I don't put my stuff, back in the drawers and whatever, and I don't keep myself tidy for sure, right? It's not my fault.
I just a final note here before we end our little section here with you, Dragon, and you go back to your evening. My advice is never play golf with a communist because they always want a do-over. Right? and they never count all of their strokes. And when they put the ball into the rough or into the sand trap, they're always running over there and saying, "I got to do over," or they just move the ball when you're not looking, and then they say, "Oh, no, that one doesn't count." I'm just saying, don't play golf with the communist.
You know what? I'm gonna try to play golf with Donald Trump. It's probably more fair.
Yeah, well, he's supposed to be a pretty darn good golfer. I mean, pro level, apparently, with Trump. So it probably would be fun to play golf with Donald Trump.
I'm sure I can beat his ass on PS2.
Well, thank you for digging into all of this tonight. Really appreciate your help with these stories, and especially what's going on over in France, putting your French to good use.
Well, it's my pleasure, sir. And Mavericks, I hope you did enjoy. So, well, you know where to find me. Dragon on Facebook. There's also the One Rising Dragon. I'm still have to make some good content, so I'm looking forward to it. And also, just one thing, guys. Remember this. Don't always ingest those beautiful conspiracy theory because it's junk food for your freaking mind. And this is like every junk food. You need to, slow down on it because you can't live on junk food all the time, guys. So please ingest the good thing. Listen to Mavericks.
Thank you, sir. And I'll be back on the other side.
Maverick News. Fighting for freedom.
He's a fighter. He's a survivor. President Trump, defiant, strong. He is determined to make America great again. Pay tribute to the 45th President of the United States with this collectible t-shirt from the Maverick News Memorable Moments collection. Even a would-be assassin's bullet could not stop him. Instead, he emerged with his fist in the air ready to fight. For freedom. Get your Trump Fighting for Freedom t-shirt with any donation of $30 or more to Maverick News. There are 2 iconic artistic designs to choose from. But there is only one way to get these. Donate at freedomreporters.com. Support free speech. Free media. Support Maverick News. Call 1-866-248-1490 or order online at supergeeks.tv.
I'm back. Okay. Yeah, I'm super cautious right now when it comes to any of this information, especially the stuff I'm finding on X, formerly known as Twitter. And that is because as a free speech platform, you're getting people on there who are going way beyond free speech, and they're just making stuff up. This footage, and I don't know, man, you guys in the chat tell me if this is real. This is supposed to be footage of Iran's coverage of the Olympics. It's all like blacked out, censored, black bars. Let me roll this, and you guys tell me, is this real? Is this really what they're doing over in Iran because of the way they view women, the way they treat women, their attitude toward women's rights? It's the they're covering up the sport attire because there's too much of the female body showing, I guess. I think that's what this is all about. You tell me, is this real?
کنیایی دورخیز میکنه 3 گام بر میداره میپره از روی خیلی زیبا رکورد جهانی رو بهبود میده این دونده 21 ساله از کنیا 400 متر با مانر براتون گزارش میکنیم دونده کوبایی توی خط 5 جلو افتاده دونده روس داره تعقیب میکنه جلو میزنه ازش دونده کنیایی و با مانع سوم رد میکنه توی خط 5 جونز و رکورد جهانی بهبود پیدا میکنه باریکلا به این دونده 17 ساله از بلاروس تمرکز میکنه میاد روی پنجه کف پا موازی خیلی دقت بالایی میخواد این کار.
Is that real? Are they really doing this?
قامتی کشیده داره و رها میکنه 3 وارو و بسیار زیبا ورزشکار چینی برای مدال.
Does anybody know? I mean, I don't watch Iranian television, so I don't know. It wouldn't surprise me. Well, yeah, I guess it would. It's surprising me. I don't know. Would it? I don't know. I don't know what to believe anymore. I'm going to have to get a feed straight out of Iran. You know what I'm going to have to do? That's what I'm going to have to do. I'm going to find out. Okay? I will try to find out by tomorrow. I will try to get some sort of feed out of Iran where they're running some Olympic stuff. I'll figure it out, and then I'll know for sure, and I'll tell you if that footage is authentic. Again, like there again, right? Strange story, but is it even real? We don't even know. Don't even know. And then this too. I think this is authentic. This is how they counted the votes in Venezuela, which also gives rise to concerns about the integrity of the election, because when Maduro was, and the officials under Maduro's control, I would say, were done adding up all the votes, they came to 109%. Or so these reports indicate, but again, that could be a fabrication too. I don't know. I just don't know. But here's the post on it, and I've seen it in many places. But just because you see something in many places doesn't make it real either. Sometimes people just pick up on fake news and then repeat it. So, according to local TV, 109% of the votes divided between the candidates. 51.2% plus 44.2% plus 4.6% plus 4.6 plus 4.6 equals 109.2%. Some people voted twice, I guess. Or however they got to that, I don't know. And then, we're still getting these reports of chaos in the streets because of the election. Here's more footage. This supposed to be related to the outcome of the election. This is what it looks like on the streets. Is this accurate? It's supposed to be election related. Just don't know, man. I just don't know. And here's Ron DeSantis. I think he's commenting tonight, and I think this is from tonight. But again, I don't know. Maybe this is from another day. Anyway, this is him commenting apparently about the Last Supper presentation performance at the Olympics, which of course has generated a lot of controversy. We talked about it last night. The organizing committee coming out and apologizing, saying they didn't mean to offend anyone. Or disrespect, I think was the word they used. They didn't mean to disrespect anyone. That wasn't ever their intention. They wanted it to be inclusive. But Ron DeSantis, let's hear what he has to say.
I look at this Olympics opening ceremony, and honestly, like, I wasn't like necessarily, I don't get offended. People say things that I disagree with all the time, but I was just sad seeing this. It's like, that was really a symbol of the decline of Western civilization. I don't think on the closing ceremony they're going to do anything where they mock Islam. I don't think that's going to happen. I'd be willing to bet a lot of money that doesn't happen. And so when they're doing that, and they're mocking the Last Supper like that, it just shows that so much of particularly Western Europe, they really walked away from the values that once made those countries great. And so we're in that battle here in the United States and have been for many, many years about are we going to be rooted in truth? Are we going to be rooted in things that have real serious meaning? And, of all the things that you can say is we've put our stake in the ground here in Florida very strong, and people have responded by us being the top destination for people to want to move to. So there you go. Thanks.
There you go, Ron DeSantis. I like him. I really do. Even though Donald Trump was on his kick with the Ron DeSanctimonious, I still like Ron DeSantis, and I honestly did like the way he handled things during the pandemic too. I really did. I thought he was, I thought one of the smartest things that guy did was send out work crews to work outside on road construction because there was no traffic. So he said, well, let's get it done now. And of course, the risk to people at that time of transmitting anything was extremely low or considered to be low. While, people were outside. So he said, well, everything's shut down, at least for the moment, so just get out there and fix the roads. Well, there's no traffic. It was brilliant. What a great idea. He's an effective leader, a good administrator, good planner. He gets the job done. He really, truly does. Maybe not as charismatic, quite as charismatic as Donald Trump, but still, well-spoken. Maybe someday he will be president. I think he'd make a good president. Just again, my opinion. And I'm not shilling for him. You know who said that the other day. While you're shilling for Trump, I'm not shilling for Trump. I've criticized Trump too, and I will again. I'm not endorsing any candidate here at all. I'm not, and you know who I'm not but I'm very more critical of some politicians than others. I will admit that, especially these guys. The revolutionaries who don't want a revolution. Yeah. There are others too that I'm pretty critical of. Just stick around. You'll find out over time. Oh, and did you see this meltdown on this Air Canada flight? I guess, and this is a clip, right? So again, context, perspective. I guess the flight was canceled because of this ruckus between a passenger and I guess a passenger asked for a blanket. Something went horribly wrong. The flight attendant flipped out. Am I showing my age? Flipped out, man. Welcome back to the 1970s. And so she's shouting, "You will behave or we will get off. I'll tell the captain right away, yes or no." Sounds like my mom, or maybe one of my authoritarian teachers that I had when I was in grade school. So Air Canada is investigating this. I'm going to show you. I'll show you the video. Insane. And I guess the entire, all the passengers supported the other passenger, and threatened to disembark en masse because the flight attendant was so heavy-handed. Anyway, here it is. Check it out.
Vous allez vous comporter, on débarque. Je dois dire ça au commandant tout de suite. Oui ou non? On a pas couvert, on s'est excusé. Non. Est-ce que vous allez vous comporter? Oui ou non? Je veux pas, I don't want no bullying against my crew. Okay? Everyone behave. Be quiet! Back on your seat, or you're getting off!
All right, I like the attitude. Look at this attitude right here.
Oh, man. Welcome to Air Canada. Now behave or else. Yeah, I think it's funny. I think it's funny. It wouldn't be very funny if you were on the flight, though, and everything went haywire like that, and then you're sitting there and you have to get off the plane and your flight is canceled because somebody asked for a blankie, and everything went down the tubes after that and descended into the depths of darkness. Makes you wonder, really does, doesn't it? Where we're going as a society. Things, You know, I talked about the massive debt tonight. We talked about fake news. You can't tell what's right, what's real. You're seeing flights canceled because people can't get along. We've got wars raging in the Middle East and in Ukraine. We're actually in the middle of, I would say, an actual third world war that threatens to go completely kinetic. I hope that doesn't happen. But as bad as things are, when you get up in the morning and you're laying in bed, or if you're laying in bed wondering, or you just get up and you're wondering, how much worse can things get? I just want you all to remember this. This is a thought that popped into my mind today. As bad as things are, and as much as you might wonder how much worse things can get, just remember that somewhere, right now, someone has just locked their keys in their car. I'll be back tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Love you guys. Catch you on the flip side.
This has been a Maverick Multimedia production.